If you want more on the special one, there's an iPlayer documentary available right now. As well as Jose, you'll hear from the likes of Benny McCarthy, Andre Villas-Boas and Javier Zanetti. And there are previous episodes on Real Madrid and Liverpool on iPlayer and BBC Sounds. Just search for How to Win the Champions League. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, and there we go. Thanks to Steve Crossman and the team for that. I don't suppose the special one's ever troubled himself with Edgeley Park, but there's real drama there tonight. It's a League One promotion playoff semi-final. It's Sunderland Coventry all over again. Katie Smith is at Edgeley Park. What's happening?
He should come down and see for himself, Tony.
Yeah.
We've got less than 3 minutes of extra time left to play, so a couple of minutes away from potentially penalties, and this has been a cracker of a tie. So little to separate these sides. On the night, 1-1 Stockport County against Leyton Orient, battling for a place at Wembley for the playoff final for League One. It is 3-3 on aggregate, and in this extra time period it has been all the home side. So many near misses. They've been creating so many opportunities from set pieces, from corners, from free kicks. Horsfall had another powerful header which forced a leaping save from Keeley in the Orient goal. He had a low shot from inside the area as well. So we have 118 minutes on the clock, Tony. 2 minutes away from spot kicks to decide this one.
Just enough time for the news and sport, Katie, and then we'll be back with you. Have a look at what's going on if there is to be a penalty shootout. All this drama in the playoffs, honestly, my adrenaline. Right, hopefully that's what we're all feeling when this show starts of a night. Anyway, I'm sure Paul Sayers is all racked up and ready to go with the news and sport here on 5 Live.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Tony. Of course I am. Russia's President Putin hasn't been named on the list of negotiators travelling to Turkey for peace talks with Ukraine. President Zelensky had previously said he'll travel, but only to meet the Russian delegation if Vladimir Putin is there. 3 new prisons will be built, and there'll be a 28-day limit for reoffenders being recalled for breaching their licence. The plans have been put forward by the Justice Secretary to try to ease overcrowding in England and Wales. The Conservatives have accused the government of failing to protect the public. A man suspected of a double stabbing has been shot by armed police on Merseyside. Emergency services were called to Tobruk Road area of Huyton this afternoon after reports a man and woman were attacked. The victims are in hospital in a serious but stable condition. And a British teenager has been arrested in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, on suspicion of drug smuggling. 18-year-old Bella Cully, who's from Billingham on Teesside, is facing 20 years in prison if she's found guilty of importing large quantities of narcotics, including marijuana. And in sport, St Johnstone have been relegated from the Scottish Premiership after 16 years following a 2-1 loss to Hearts at Tynecastle. Elsewhere, there were victories for Celtic, who thrashed Aberdeen 5-1, and for Rangers, who were 3-1 winners over Dundee United at Ibrox. Tottenham will be without their forward Dejan Kulusevski for next week's Europa League final against Manchester United after the Sweden international underwent knee surgery on an injury he picked up against Crystal Palace at the weekend. In tennis, the British number 1 Jack Draper is out of the Rome Masters, losing in straight sets to the 3rd seed Carlos Alcaraz. And the second golf major of the year, the USPGA, gets underway tomorrow at Quail Hollow in North Carolina. And we have full commentary over on 5 Sports Extra from 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Morning, it is 5 Live Breakfast. Rick and Rachel here with you.
It was a charity match.
How were the nerves when you went off your penalty?
Well, John Robbins was in goal, so fine. But, I mean, honestly, if you can't score a goal against that guy.
5 Live Breakfast.
With Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
Yeah, Rick's penalty. I was tired having run up in order to score with the final kick of the game as a keeper. The crowd went wild.
5 Live Breakfast. Weekdays from 6.
Ask your smart speaker to play
BBC Radio 5 Live.
Tony Livesey
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening, everyone. Listening to Rick and Rachel talk about penalties there. Stockport County hit the post with 10 seconds to go against Leyton Orient. There will be penalties in the playoff semi-final at Edgeley Park. We'll be back with Katie Smith very shortly. Elsewhere tonight, as you heard in the news, breaking news in the past hour, then Vladimir Zelensky's on his way for peace talks with Russia in Turkey. So are senior US representatives. But there we know Putin and no Trump. That's the latest. We'll assess the significance of that. We'll also have the latest on Gaza and Syria. Now, also tonight, I don't often kind of build these things up, but I've got two, what I would say, astonishing interviews with two extraordinary people that I cannot wait for you to hear. First up, a little later. Now, the assisted dying bill returns to Westminster on Friday, and she has terminal lung cancer. Don't roll your eyes, don't imagine for a moment the chat is all doom and gloom. She's already decided how to end her life, probably at Dignitas. She just needs to decide when. She's got no family. Yet, whatever side of the debate you're on, it's an absolutely, and I promise you, an uplifting piece of radio. It won't take much imagination on any of our parts to put ourselves in Linda's shoes.
It's a terrible thing to do, I know that, but it's also going to be terrible if I don't go in time and then I'm too ill to travel and then I have community carers coming in and then they take me in the end to hospital or hospice and then you put in a side room. That's cruel.
Whether it's in this country or Switzerland, this is happening for you. This is the way that you've chosen.
Yes. The thing is, if I can't get better, Tony, there's no way of coming back, then what's the point? I haven't got a quality of life.
I defy anyone, if you listen to that interview, not to imagine of the decision-making process you might have to take one day. Honestly, have a listen. We're going to play that chat shortly. And while we're on the subject of uplifting radio...
Five Live is so shit. It's unbelievable.
Another interview that I've got for you tonight is one of the most frank interviews that I've ever done. That tune you're listening to is Levels from an album released by Brad Keller.
Who gives a shit about Levels? Who gives a shit about golf? Who gives a shit about Scottish football?
Can't read or write music, but he's in a TV talent show and he's now on tour with a pop superstar in an alternative. He admits that he would have grown up a drug dealer. It's incredible. Amongst many revelations,
Five Live
how he was introduced to the piano for the first time.
Shut it down.
Down the music corridor in high school and hearing the music teacher play the piano, and I remember sprinting home as fast as I could and begging
football moment
to buy me a piano.
In England, it's happening right now. In Five Live,
a small keyboard, and
are talking
I remember
absolute
bollocks for hours and hours every day. And I never had no lessons whatsoever. I just realised I had quite good ears and I worked through pattern and stuff. But yeah, I literally came from nothing.
Honestly, please listen to that a little bit later on. That's Brad Keller, and what he has to say about his foster parents is you know, pretty emotional stuff. That'll come later on. Also tonight.
Yeah. BBC. Too much money. Too much money at the BBC.
Tips on how to care for the blackbirds living in my troffin. Is it troffin the right word? My producer Mark, who's alongside me. Troffin, is that?
Troffin?
Yeah. Is that the right?
I've never even heard that word.
What do you call this stuff? You know the bits that.
The gutter?
Oh, guttering.
Yeah,
it's called troffing where I come from. Anyway, they're living in bits of my house. So people have been emailing me today. Latest one from Pat who says, give them some raisins. I'm going to get some expert advice for all of us with birds.
Expert fucking advice?
We've got an FA Cup final fact of the day with John Murray. And after the full lineup,
the BBC get away with this? Five Live
has been revealed.
How do they? Seriously.
I'm toying with tomorrow's mixtape being all about
toying,
lies,
too much money, too much shit.
Deception. Would that work, Mark? What do you think about that?
I mean, it starts with Elvis. I mean,
Suspicious Minds.
What a start.
If anybody thinks that's a goer, or has got a suggestion, or has got an alternative suggestion, because Wednesday's our night to toy with the mixtape, do let us know. What are the numbers, Mark?
Go to Radio 1.
The numbers are
yes, you have one question, one job.
Text 85058, or you can call or WhatsApp 08085 999 693.
Beautiful.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
5 Live! You've lost the fucking plot. Bin it, cancel it, crap it out.
Then your standard message rates. Message on WhatsApp 08085 909 693. Visit bbc.co.uk/5 live terms for our terms of use and privacy notice.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK.
Tony Lipsy. Listen on BBC Sounds.
shows you how far BBC is out of date. I've been saying this for years.
It's gone to penalties. Stockport County against Leyton Orient. First thing to say, Katie Smith, who's there for us, the place looks as though it's rocking. I've been to Ashley Park numerous occasions over the years. They can't half create an atmosphere.
Yeah, completely sold out this evening, Tony, and the penalties are taking place with the Stockport County fans behind the goal. It's going to be Leyton Orient to go first. It's going to be Tom James of Leyton Orient, substitute, came on in the second half, and look to the fans behind him, waving their torches, trying to distract him in any way possible. It is Corey Adai in goal in lime green for Stockport County.
Yeah, so we'll set this up for us then, these two teams. Where did they finish in the league? Who were favourites going in?
5 Live catching up as we knew.
County, Tony, finished in third, stepping up Tom James, and he scores it. Keeper goes the right way, but it's placed nicely left-hand corner of the goal. So Stockport County, Leyton Orient with the first blood there. So Stockport County finishing third in the regular season, Leyton Orient in 6th. So Stockport County supposedly, Tony, tonight with the home advantage. It finished 2-2 off the first leg. It was chaotic, it was entertaining down in East London. It was controversial as well around an offside goal that was given. There was a lot of at stake around that, a lot of controversy. Second penalty about to be taken. Now the tension inside this.
Yeah.
Here we go, and it's scored. It's scored by Ollie Norwood. So much experience from the former Premier League player, and we should say, Tony, as well, within the context of this, is that Leyton Orient have had 3 penalty shootouts this season already. A couple in the FA Cup, one in the EFL Trophy. They've won all 3 of them.
Yeah, well, I think you can. I've got TV pictures on here, and I can see the tension as there always are in circumstances like this. Stockport County are interesting in themselves, aren't they, Katie? Because they've been down in the depths, and they're trying to do a Wrexham, if you will. They're trying to get back from many years in the wilderness. It's kind of a romantic story as far as they're concerned.
Absolutely, looking for back-to-back promotion. Second penalty scored by Leyton Orient, so perfect record so far. You're totally right. They were playing in the National League not too long ago, promoted up last season into League One, and looking to reach the lofty heights of the Championship. Haven't been there since 2002, so over 20 years. But then you look at Leyton Orient as well, Tony, have never played in the Championship. It would be a 43-year wait for them to be back in the second division. So both of these sides so familiar with EFL football, but both have been back down in the National League not too long ago, with such brilliant travelling support today, we should say, as well.
Yeah, I wasn't aware they've never played in the Championship, so that's what an aim that is, to get to the highest place they've ever been in the Football League.
Absolutely. Jack Diamond now standing over the ball. Can he take this one? Oh, it's saved! It goes down. Josh Keeley in goal. The Irish 21-year-old makes the save for Leyton Orient. So Leyton Orient now with 2 penalties to their name. Stockport County, that one saved by Josh Keeley. Taker was Jack Diamond. So now things start to get a little bit interesting and a little bit nervy here inside Edgeley Park.
Yeah, I mean, having been my team, I don't know who you support, Kate, and you probably don't want to reveal that, but my team have been in the playoffs enough to know that you spend all season trying to get to this level, trying to get to these couple of matches, and it can all be over with a moment of heartbreak as well. It's a really difficult thing to do. I mean, it's a new choice, great to watch and listen to these playoffs, but being involved, it can be the worst way to go.
100%. As a Brentford fan, I can speak for having had a very poor playoff record until a couple of years ago, where we managed to do it in the final. That's another penalty scored by Leyton Orient. Abdullahi, another substitute coming on. He featured in the first leg as well. So 3 penalties taken, 3 penalties scored for Leyton Orient. Stockport County trailing that miss by Jack Diamond. There's going back to playoffs though, yeah, Tony, you're totally right. And Leyton Orient, actually, in the 4 playoff campaigns that they've contested in their history, they've reached the final on all 4 occasions. This would be their 5th time, and so far they have the advantage. Not even on their home ground either, but it was Stockport County totally in the ascendancy in the latter stages of the game, hitting the post in literally the last minute of extra time.
I was just reminding myself, there's still the other tie to finish as well. Charlton Wickham in the other one.
Another save from Ryan Rydell. Josh Keeley just pinging off his heels. It went down low to the left. Josh Keeley just celebrating on loan from Spurs, the 21-year-old goalkeeper. And this could spell trouble for Stockport County, the home side who finished third in the league.
Well, I was just pontificating on who the winner might play in the final at Wembley, either Charlton or Wycombe. They're 0-0 after the first leg, but this penalty, I think, to wins it for Leyton Orient.
Certainly is, and stepping up for them, it's Andressen, another substitute. Both sides ringing the changes. Exactly. So, could Corey Adai be the hero here for Stockport County? This for Leyton Orient to make it through to Wembley. Anderson over the ball, long run up. And he scores it, and he wheels away. Leyton Orient are heading to Wembley for the playoff final.